Hi, I'm EllaAradia and welcome to your Psychic Tarot love reading. This reading is for my Taurus, Virgo and Capricorn earth signs. The timestamps are below, where we'll be taking a deeper dive into your person's hidden feelings for you. This is a love reading and it's for those of you who are already connected with someone. Even if you are currently in no contact with your person, this will be a very specific message, so it may not resonate for all of you. If it feels right, then it's meant for you. Otherwise, you may want to check out the readings for your other placements, so Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. And before we jump in, a big thank you to all of you who are supporting my channel by liking and subscribing. So if you enjoy this reading and you haven't already done that, please do. It helps the channel out a lot. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe, and then you get notified when the next videos are up. So let's dive in, Taurus. I always like to tune into the energies first, Taurus, before I start pulling any cards. I'm a psychic reader, so I like to see what the universe shows me. I'm feeling some kind of toxic connection, some toxic dynamics going on in the with the person that you're dealing with here. Somebody who I feel just, really finds fault in everything, in you, in others, in life. And I feel like it comes from a place of, their own unhealed wounds or traumas. And I do feel like this is someone that, you care very deeply for. And I feel like you've held space for this for quite a long time. You've tried to help this person. You've tried to help them work through, these unhealed wounds from the past that are perhaps, blocking them from opening up to a healthy love with you. That's what I feel here. Because when I feel into your energy, Taurus, I feel like you're holding this really beautiful space of, unconditional love and acceptance. You're really trying to hold that safe container for your person. But I feel like it's kind of gone on for a while and not much has changed. And I do feel at this point, things are starting to just, slowly but surely kind of chip away at the connection here. And it's creating damage because you can only hold that space and, they have to meet you there, right? Like you can't do that for them. With your overall energies, we have the Ten of Swords. This is an energy of an ending of, a challenging phase. Very often, this is an energy of feeling stabbed in the back, betrayed, something that you didn't see coming. It's usually something that has kind of really gone full circle, though. It's something that you don't really come back from. It's something that is absolutely over and done with, usually. Their view of you, the Five of Pentacles, moving on. Somebody moving on, somebody walking away, often a card about feeling abandoned, feeling on the outside. Their feelings towards you, the Nine of Pentacles. In a love reading, that is a card of independence, and it's much more about the energy of being single than being in a connection with someone. Their intentions towards you, the Star. Some of you may have, there may have been some kind of conflict. Somebody may have walked away. Someone may have taken space here. And you may be in a moment of no contact with this person. But with their intentions towards you, we have the Star, which to me speaks of somebody that wants some kind of renewal with you. They want some kind of new beginning. And maybe whatever distance or space this is right now is something that is very often needed in order for, you know, healing to take place, reflection. Your feelings towards your person, the King of Cups. This is the energy that I was feeling right at the beginning, Taurus. You know, this is the space that you're holding for this person of love, of emotional stability, that safe container. You know, the King of Cups, that's you. That's someone who, you know, really is able to connect very deeply, and not only that, you know, hold space for your person to feel, you know, emotionally held and supported, because that's absolutely the energy that I'm feeling from you. And of course, this can be male or female. You know, don't worry about the gender here, male or female. But that's where you're at in this. And so it's a big invitation, because for the person that you're dealing with, for them to open up, you know, the star is all about somebody being their true authentic self and not being afraid to be seen and be vulnerable. And, you know, whatever behaviors that have been going on, because I do feel like there's an element of, you know, things feeling a little bit toxic in this connection. Ultimately, it's a behavior, I feel, that has come out of, you know, whatever that unhealed wound is in their past. And so that behavior of, you know, constantly having a negative outlook, finding fault in everything, in you, in life, in other people, it's some kind of protection. It's some way that, you know, they somehow have a sense of power or feeling validated in some way, because that's something that they didn't have growing up as a child. And so in order to, you know, have this new beginning, that is a barrier that does need to come down. It is a barrier that needs to collapse, you know, in the person that you're dealing with. But with the star as their intentions towards you, it may well be that they might be able to get through this and be vulnerable enough to kind of come forward to you and embrace, I feel, that love that you're offering there, this King of Cups energy. So what lies in the challenge here? The Empress. This is a card of a rebirth, but it's in the challenge. And the challenge is, I feel, pretty much what I've just said. I feel like you're dealing with someone who, I feel like this is a lifelong pattern. And this behavior, it's a protection. To let that wall down takes them back to that original core wound where they didn't feel enough. They didn't feel validated for who they truly were. They may have had a very critical parent that, you know, then created these beliefs of not being good enough. There's something wrong with them, and finding fault in you and others is really a projection that's coming from them. And so the challenge here is for the person that you're dealing with here to let go of that old version of themselves, because there's an invitation for a rebirth here, a new beginning. And the hidden influence is the Tower. So whatever is breaking down here, Taurus, it's happening for a reason, and it's happening because it absolutely needs to. You know, this Ten of Swords is all about, you know, something that has absolutely come full circle. You know, the way things are, you know, cannot go on. You know, there needs to be some kind of real change here. And the Tower is all about that. The Tower is, you know, an energy which comes in, it starts to collapse anything that is, you know, it's had its time. You know, change is needed, and the universe brings in a Tower. It collapses, you know, those false illusions, foundations, you know, any kind of negative, limiting patterns which, you know, really aren't working anymore. And, you know, it clears the way for something real and something that is, you know, more aligned to who you truly are, to you know, that authentic version of yourself. And so really, if you can, it is about trusting, you know, whatever this tower moment is, whatever is falling apart, whatever is crumbling, because I do feel like there's been conflict and somebody's walked away. Someone's feeling abandoned, someone's walked away, someone's feeling on the outside. And, you know, it may have been you that took a step back. You know, the energies of this card always, for me, contain the soul lessons of, you know, somebody learning their worth and their value. And, you know, this may be what the person you're dealing with is going through right now. So trust the tower, trust what is falling apart, because the invitation here is to put this back together in a better way. And I do feel like, you know, there is a chance that the person you're dealing with might be able to do that, because deep down inside, I do feel, you know, that you both love and care about each other very deeply here. Your advice from the universe, the Two of Cups, that's beautiful. I love that. So just stay true to you. Don't settle for less, you know. Love is a, you know, a balanced, reciprocal energy. You know, it's two people choosing each other through an energy of mutual trust. And what you put in is what you receive back. And it's holding true to, you know, what you truly want, because your needs are also important in this. You know, not settling for less. This is about, you know, a balanced, loving connection, you know, where two people are sharing those cups equally. In your outcome, the Chariot, getting back in the driving seat of your life, staying in your power, and just remembering that, you know, whatever ups and downs are kind of going on here, you know, the energies of the Chariot there are just a little reminder, you know, that you have the ability to navigate this situation, these ups and downs, this hurdle, you know, this tower moment that's kind of swept in. And I do feel that, you know, there is a possibility that, you know, this is something that you can get through. So let's get your person's hidden message for you. So the hidden message is more for those of you who are in some kind of no contact situation right now, because I do feel a distance between you. I wish I could share my good news with you. I want to tell you how I feel. It was my fault, but I blamed you. So someone's reflecting, somebody is, I feel, taking some accountability here, which is what you need. You don't know how hard it was to let you go. I don't react when people mention you. So Taurus, I'm going to leave that there. We are going to move on to Virgo. Virgo. So one more shuffle. So Virgo, let's jump in. So I always like to tune into the energies first, Virgo, before I start pulling any cards. I'm a psychic reader, so I like to see what the universe shows me. I'm already feeling two energies here for some reason. And one person that I feel you're currently involved with, which feels like it's the tail end of an old pattern, because there's something that's feeling, you know, a little bit unhealthy about this. And somebody new who looks like they're kind of orbiting, this might be somebody that you know already, that has had their eye on you for a while, I feel. But on your side, it might be someone that you hadn't really thought of in that way. But sometimes when our energy shifts and we heal our own patterns, you know, what becomes attractive to us starts to change. That's what I'm feeling here, Virgo. Your overall energies, we have the Hermit. This is a card of going within, looking for answers. It's a card of soul searching and really tapping into, you know, your inner wisdom, which has been gained, you know, from your life experiences. You know, the Hermit is a very well-traveled energy, a lot of life experience, a lot of lessons learnt, a lot of wisdom that's been gained. And, you know, this is what you are being asked to tap into right now, moving forwards, because what you're currently involved in, I feel, is part of an old pattern, you know, and there might be something that kind of feels familiar about it, but at the same time, it feels unhealthy. And we have a new energy coming in, which I feel is more aligned with the person that you are becoming as a result of kind of working through, you know, the last bits of that pattern for you. So your person's view of you, we have the Five of Swords. It's a card of conflict. Their feelings towards you, the King of Wands. Their intentions towards you, the Six of Cups. And I feel like this is the person that you're dealing with. This may be someone that you have a great physical connection with. You know, this could be someone that in many ways is very fun to be around. But they may lack, you know, being able to connect in, you know, deeper emotional ways with you. And you may have had conflict. You know, this is a card of arguments, conflict, you know, harsh words that have been spoken, things that were maybe said in the heat of the moment that may not have been meant, but, you know, may have been very wounding. You know, the Five of Swords is all about, you know, somebody wanting to win. It's kind of an ego-driven battle, let's say, where, you know, each person or one person has kind of really got their heels dug in, wanting to be right. And this may have put you at a distance from each other, because we've got this card of nostalgia here, which represents, you know, somebody kind of going back over the past, revisiting the past, connecting to old memories, you know, happy times and moments when, you know, things were good. Your feelings towards your situation, the Four of Pentacles. And that's you, I feel, keeping your feelings quite close to your chest. And I almost feel like that's something that does need to be there in this situation. So it feels like there's been some conflict and there's a little bit of space between you. It might just be that you're a bit closed off from each other, or you may be in some kind of no contact situation. And the person that you're dealing with is, you know, reminiscing over the past right now. They might be looking at photos, old conversations, just kind of, you know, revisiting the good times. And, you know, they may have come back forward again, but I feel like you're feeling quite guarded about this with this Four of Pentacles. This is someone who is, you know, keeping their feelings quite close to their chest, because there is also something about this which I feel doesn't feel healthy. And deep down inside, Virgo, I feel like you know that also, that, you know, has this person really changed? Will things get better? And I feel like there is an invitation in terms of soul lessons here to really step into the lessons learnt from this past pattern of yours. because this feels like an opportunity to me. It doesn't feel like the same pattern repeating. I think I got this for your monthly reading. It feels to me the energy of this is an opportunity for you to show up differently. So sometimes the Four of Pentacles is somebody holding on too tightly. You know, it can be a controlling energy. And the question is, you know, is there a good reason for that? Or is it fear that's causing you to hold on too tightly like that? But in your case, I feel like there's a good reason here, because I just get this sense, if you were really honest with what your heart was saying here, there's something about this person which I feel is more of a lesson for you rather than a life partner. So there's something that just doesn't feel healthy. And then, you know, you may have seen the potential. It might be someone that you do care about. But will things really change? That's the question here. What lies in the challenge is the Ace of Swords. This is the sword of truth. You're being asked to see things clearly in this situation. You know, this is an energy which cuts through illusions to bring the truth. And sometimes, you know, we can get a little bit hooked on the good times of the past, you know, with this Six of Cups. So, you know, this could be you also. It's not necessarily just your person. Sometimes these energies can be flipped. But it's important to see the whole picture. And that might be, you know, where you are struggling a little bit and you are being asked to keep your heart, I feel, you know, very grounded in reality in this situation. You're being asked to see the whole picture here, the whole truth, you know, not just the good bits, you know, the things which, you know, are kind of feeling very out of balance. With a hidden influence, the Eight of Pentacles, this is somebody putting the work in. And I feel like this is an invitation from the universe to actually put the work into yourself and make, you know, your own growth, your own self-development the priority in this situation. Your advice from the universe, strength, that kind of fits really well with what I've just said. Not being afraid to, you know, face fears, insecurities, to look at, you know, anything in you that's still kind of unhealed from your past, you know, that has perhaps kept you in this pattern from the past. Because as I said, I feel like there's someone new for you. I can see them there just on the outside of your energy field. And they're not quite visible to you yet because your vibration needs to shift a little bit. Because this is someone I feel that is really ready for commitment, a healthy love. And until you put that work into yourself and really demonstrate that to the universe, you know, then, you know, you're not going to be visible to each other in that way, because, you know, your energy needs to shift. What lies in the outcome is the Fool, some kind of new beginning, a fresh start, and trusting the process, you know, trusting this new chapter and really approaching that with an open heart here, Virgo. So let's get your person's hidden message for you. So the hidden message is more for those of you who are in some kind of no contact situation. Virgo. I look for you everywhere. I left before you could leave me. I feel you even though we're apart. I lost myself for a while. I love you. Virgo, I'm going to leave that there. We are going to move on to Capricorn. Capricorn. So one more shuffle. Okay, Capricorn, let's jump in. So I always like to feel into the energies before I start pulling any cards, Capricorn. I'm a psychic reader, so I like to see what the universe shows me. I'm instantly feeling a Capricorn that's thinking of moving on from somebody. I feel like the person you're dealing with just isn't stepping up in some way for you. And I feel on some level, it's actually holding you back. I feel like it's affecting your energy. It's stopping you from, really expanding, shining your light. This may be someone that, you've got a little bit of history with, because I feel like you've been kind of hanging on there for a while for some kind of commitment in some way, an acknowledgement of the connection, a recognition of the connection, a stepping up in some way. You've been waiting for things to, go to the next level. And I feel like this is something that started off really well. And I feel like the person that you're dealing with, not necessarily in a malicious way or anything like that. I feel like this is someone who, really kind of gets caught up on those new energies, the sparks, and kind of comes in really strong. And that, this is someone I feel that was kind of saying that they love you really quickly and all of that. And I feel like you were quite held back for a while, but at a certain point, I feel like you let your heart kind of go in there. But then as time has gone on, you've really started to get to know each other. And I feel like that's where, those blocks and challenges have come up. You're seeing certain behaviors from this person. And I feel like that you're hitting a wall where, things are really struggling to move to that next level. So with your overall energies, we have the Five of Pentacles. And this is a card of somebody moving on. This could be you. This could be the person that you're dealing with. Sometimes it can represent someone feeling abandoned or feeling shut out. Because I do kind of get that energy from you as well. I feel like this is someone who very often makes other people a priority over you and the relationship. And I see the word disappointment, let down. This might be somebody who kind of says they're going to come round, show up, or, we're going to go out and do this, and then they let you down at the last moment. It feels like, quite an energy of sabotage going on. And what they're doing here, I feel, is they're putting the brakes on things because there's a fear to open up more deeply and take things to the next level here. Their view of you is the Nine of Pentacles, very often a card of independence. This is usually the energy of somebody saying, I'm okay as I am. I'm okay being single. I don't really need anybody else. Their feelings towards you is the King of Cups. Their intentions towards you, the Empress. So, they may also see that potential with you. I feel like they know what you want. They know what you're about. That, you're wanting that long-term connection, you're wanting that deeper connection. And there's a part of them that wants to meet you there with the energies of the Empress here. But in order to do that, in order for there to be some kind of rebirth, that's going to involve the person you're dealing with letting go of an old version of themselves. It's a version that they might be quite identified with. This may be someone who is somehow, trying to hold on to whatever a kind of single life represents to them. by perhaps being a little bit controlling, making things a bit more on their terms, and, you know, not stepping up in the way that you really need them to. Your feelings towards your person, the Tower. This usually comes in when, you know, change is really needed. And I feel like you're at the point with this person where you're just going to let things crumble. You're just going to let things fall apart, because things do need to change. And the Tower comes in to really break down, you know, anything that's built on illusions, false foundations. It's an energy which really clears the way for something real. And I feel like you're at that point where that's absolutely the energy that you're standing in right now. Things need to change, or else it's time to move on. The challenge is the Magician. And so you've got this person's feelings for you as the King of Cups, their intentions, they're wanting some kind of new beginning with you. They're wanting to embrace the potential. But the potential is in the challenge here. So this is where I feel this blockage. There's a fear to open up to, you know, what this could be, because this could be something, you know, very beautiful, very loving. And I just feel like you're dealing with somebody who is really struggling to allow themselves to be seen. I feel like there is a fear to open up to love here. And there's a part of them that wants to. There's a part of them that I feel wants to somehow hold on to a single life. And so you may be dealing with someone who's kind of on the cusp of that. And deep down, that's what their soul really wants. They do want love. They do want to have, you know, a long-term partner. But I feel, you know, what that takes and what that requires of them is something that they're kind of running away from. You know, they're running away from, you know, this beautiful potential of what this could be with you. In the hidden influence here, we have the Knight of Wands. And I was feeling that, like when I was just feeling into that Nine of Pentacles again. And I'm like, I'm feeling a player energy. I'm feeling somebody who's on the cusp here. And these behaviors are what is sabotaging the connection here. You may be dealing with somebody who may be entertaining other connections. You know, they might enjoy the attention of, you know, these kind of flirtatious conversations. You know, I'm seeing someone on their phone. Maybe they're chatting with other people. For some of you, there may have been a betrayal. And this is what I'm feeling here. You're dealing with someone who is on some level wanting that love of the King of Cups, but they're on the cusp. They've still got these kind of player energies. And somehow, you know, these kind of player energies, when I say on the cusp, you know, this is also something that is not quite working for them, because, you know, these superficial connections, it's not really giving them that deeper love. And this is where this conflict is here. And I just feel that the time has come. You know, that's how you're feeling towards all of this, is the Tower. The time is make or break. You know, the Tower always gives the invitation to, you know, whatever crumbles, whatever falls apart, there is an invitation to put this back together in a better way. But that's going to require, I feel, some real change and a real commitment from the person that you're dealing with. You know, love is a commitment, and relationships are about, you know, putting that work in on both sides, being accountable, you know, working on, you know, their issues, your issues, on both sides. And Your advice from the universe, the Two of Cups, this is actually about you staying true to you, not settling for less in this, not settling for less than you deserve. And just remembering, you know, that love is, you know, meant to be something that's reciprocal. This is two people choosing each other, you know, equally, mutually, through a place of trust. You know, sharing those cups, it's a balanced energy. And, you know, in the advice position, that's a message for you to just really hold true to you in this, even if it means the completion, you know, the crumbling, you know, the falling apart of this connection. Because really, when you think about it, the way it is, you don't really have them anyway, because there's something that really isn't working about this. You're not getting your needs met. In the outcome position, we have the Chariot, which is you staying in your power in this. This is all about getting back in the driving seat of your life, staying in your power. And you do that, I feel, by absolutely staying true to what you really deserve and what you really want in a partner here. And just remembering, you know, with the energies of the Chariot, that's you holding the reins of your life. You're in the driving seat, and you absolutely have the ability to, you know, navigate this situation moving forwards. It's all about, you know, you just staying in your power in this and not settling for less. So let's get your person's hidden message for you. The hidden message is more for those of you who are in some kind of no contact situation here. Capricorn. I don't react when people mention you. I knew exactly what I was doing. I hide behind material things. I want you. I know I messed up everything. So Capricorn, I'm going to leave that there. If this reading resonated, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, no matter what comes through in a reading, moving forwards, always trust what feels right for you. So thanks so much for being here, and I wish you a great month ahead.